This is Demola Awoyele, and I want to welcome you to another life-changing episode of Leaders Arise. Thank you for always being a part of our broadcast. Today, I want to begin a series I've titled The Empowering Leader. The Empowering Leader. What a wonderful way to prepare you for the next phase of your life and leadership, because the next phase of your life and leadership is determined by how many people you are empowering in your sphere. Maybe I need to remind somebody out there that the goal of leadership is to produce other leaders. Leaders are not to lead followers. They are supposed to raise other leaders. And there is no better way or other way to raise other leaders than empowering them. That is why you must decide to be an empowering leader. But let me borrow some thoughts from John Maxwell as I lay foundation for this series today. John Maxwell gave us the different kinds of leader that we can have. Number one, John Maxwell spoke about the insecure leader. Remember, we are discussing the empowering leader. But John Maxwell began to explain the kinds of leaders that we have, and these are leaders that people don't want to follow. He said number one is the insecure leader. The insecure leader is that leader that wants everything to be centered around him. Nobody can lead successfully who is insecure. Perhaps the reason why a lot of people do not empower others is because they are insecure. A leader that is secure does not have problem in empowering other people. I wrote it down in some of my writings that the purpose of power is to give it away. Power becomes effective when it is given away. Simply put, to empower means to give power away, to transmit power. How many of you have noticed that that's the language they use in democracy, maybe in this side of the world? When the president is about to leave the country, maybe for more than 2 to 3 weeks, they will say he should transmit power. He should transmit power to the vice president. I'm only borrowing that coinage to buttress my point that every leader must learn to transmit power. Well, you may want to say transfer power, but I would rather say transmit power, because the power you give away, you don't actually lose. Rather, it multiplies. And that's the reason why a lot of us do not want to give power away. We don't want to empower people. We never knew that when we give power away, we don't lose the power, rather we multiply it. That is why I rather call it transmit, not necessarily transfer. To transmit power means to share that power, to allow another person to use the power that you have got. What a powerful thought that I've just talked about today. Allow other people to use the power that you have got. And you know, sometimes it may be the power you worked for all your life. For example, Jesus worked for the power that he got. He had to leave heaven to come to earth. He had to go through all that he went through, and he had the power. While he was with the disciples, he fasted and prayed for a number of days. He did all night and all of that. And guess what? In a simple breath, he gave the power away. The reason why some of us do not want to empower is because, or give power away, is because we feel that I had this power for 20 years. It took me 20 years, it took me 30 years or 50 years to get to where I am. So why will I just give it away to other people? Well, that's the job of leadership. A leader is a ladder, all right, upon which other people, they climb to their destiny. If you are not ready to be a ladder, you are not ready to be a leader, meaning that you are going to lay your back for other people to climb on. Remember in Luke chapter 10, Jesus gave power away. When you read in scriptures that the Bible said Jesus gave power, he called the 70, he called the 12, he called the this and that, and he gave them power. He gave them power. That means he permitted them to go do what he could have done on his own. He gave them the authority, he gave them the permission to go and use his power. And remember in that Luke 10, I guess verse 19 or thereabout, when the disciples came back, they began to, jubilate and celebrate. They began to say, "Oh, sir, awesome time we had in the field today. We saw demons subject to us, not to Jesus now. It has to be them because Jesus has given the power away. And Jesus never felt insecure. If it were some of us, that the people whom you have given power to come back and give amazing results, you begin to feel bad. You begin to feel insecure. That was what exactly happened to Saul. When David came on board and David began to do exploit as a young man full of energy, full of passion, full of vision. If I were Saul, I could have permitted David to use that power, because without Saul, there wouldn't have been a David. So the women began to sing, Saul has killed his thousands, David has killed his 10,000. And at that statement, Saul began to envy David. He began to witch hunt David. That is a prototype or a portrait of an insecure leader. He can't stand the rise of another leader. He can't stand other people praising other leaders. He wants everything to be centered around him. If he's not the one being recognized or praised, he feels bad about it. And when you are that kind of leader, people don't want to follow you. So according to John Maxwell, you must not be an insecure leader. You must be a leader that is secure, that is comfortable under your own skin, that you know that no matter what the people you are leading do, is actually a testimony of your leadership, not a rub of your shine. And that is the kind of leader you don't want to be, and that is the kind of leader that people do not want to follow. Before I draw the curtain on today's episode, let me give you the second kind of leader, according to John Maxwell, that you must not be. The kind of leader that people do not want to follow. That is what I call the visionless leader. This is a kind of leader that does not provide direction. A kind of leader that does not provide direction. It does not provide direction. It does not provide passion. The truth of the matter is, people don't join a place, they join a vision. People don't join a man, they join a vision. As a leader, don't think people are joining you as it were. They are actually joining your vision. That's why you discover that if people join you at the first because you had a vision, the moment you do not have a vision, people will find their bearing. So as a leader, you must never be visionless. A visionless leader is a leader that provides no direction, that provides no passion. So people do not want to follow a leader like that. Look at Proverbs 29 verse 18, for instance. The Bible says, without vision, the people perish. One version says people cast off restraint. People live anyhow. When there is no vision, everybody carry their bags and baggages and they begin to go wherever it is that they want to go. So one of the ways to attract people to you, I use the word attract because unless you attract somebody, you cannot empower that person. Look at the life of Jesus. He needed to attract the disciples before he empowered them. What does that mean? He told them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. He painted a vision before them. He seemed to tell them, when you follow me, in a matter of time, you are going to become fishers of men. As simple as that statement is, it's a statement of a visionary leader. So when people follow you, what are they going to become? What will their future look like? What will their time with you bring to their life and their existence? That is what it means to be a visionary. Somebody who paint the picture of a glorious future before people that engender their followership, that attract them to whatever it is that you are doing. The truth of the matter is, the capital for leadership is vision. I have taught over and over again that when you are asked to step up on the leadership pedestal, stop looking for money. Start looking for vision. You know, sometimes they has to come and lead, and you are looking for allocation, you are looking for funds, you are looking for money. As important as money is for leadership, money is not as important as vision. What I have come to realize over the years, that if I have vision, the people that will fund the vision will come. All right, because money is in people. All right, people have money. Let me put it that way. What I'm trying to say is, when I have vision and I'm able to bring people on board that vision, is a matter of time, the money will come out of the people. But you don't start by looking for money. You start by getting a vision. That vision attracts people. Then you empower people with the vision. Then the people begin to bring the resources. You don't want to be a visionless leader. A leader that lacks direction, that lacks passion. And one thing about such a leader is that he is boring. And his leadership is boring. Everywhere looks so boring. People are bored. People don't feel excited. Nothing is driving anybody. And in no time, people have to change location to look for somewhere and someone that can inspire their passion, that can inspire their vision, that can ignite their passion. Remember, we are discussing the empowering leader, and I began by telling us from John Maxwell the kind of leader you don't want to be, because people don't want to follow that kind of leader. The number one, I said, you don't want to be an insecure leader that wants everything to be centered around him, that cannot stand the rise of other leaders like Saul. And you don't want to be the kind of leader that is visionless, that lacks direction, and lacks passion. People like that, there is boredom around their life and around their leadership, and people don't like to stay where there is boredom. I'm going to draw the curtain today on this episode of Leaders Arise. Next episode, I will be discussing further the kind of leader you don't want to be and you must never be, because those kind of leader people do not want to follow. I need you to send me your questions, your comments, your feedback, and of course, share my videos all across your contact. And if you have not subscribed to this page, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, kindly follow this page so that you can keep abreast of the next episode of Leaders Arise. Don't forget that you must be an empowering leader. I look forward to inspiring you at the next episode. Bye for now.